It's Paolo Faraboschi, VP from Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and I want to sincerely thank you for making all your way from Silicon Valley to New Zealand, and also for the support of HPE to our little meeting. The main question is, why Multicore World? You can be anywhere in the world, but you decided to come here. What's the recommendation to others?
I think this is a great community of really deep experts that get together in a wonderful setting, and it is very informal, and it kind of lends itself to all sorts of conversations that are very difficult to have during your meeting after meeting, day-to-day kind of really hectic life of typical business. And
I always say that Multicore Worlds is like supercomputing, but without 14,000 extras.
Yes, I mean supercomputing is another great event, but it's very different in the sense that as you know, it's a lot of customer interactions, especially from the commercial side, and it is very much business driven. In this case, these kind of meetings that put together kind of a smaller community with more time, because honestly we're spending 5-6 days in a part of the world where you got fewer distractions, give you time to take a step back, pause, think about the bigger problem, have honest conversation with people that are your partners, your customers, your competitors, your users, in a very open environment. And I think this is exactly what the community needs to attack some of the grand challenges that we have in front of us.
Speaking about competitors and speaking about the big business, I mean, HPE is one of the largest vendors and system integrators, but there are others. I mean, we met people from Atos in supercomputing, but more than thinking about competitors, where is the industry going? Because it seems that more and more either you are disaggregating or bringing stuff to the edge, and there is a lot of competitor from smaller startups, and not that small. I mean, Sambanova got what, $5 billion of funding? Still, it's a tough game. So I'm not asking about your competitors, but about where is the industry going towards real outcomes, not necessarily research, real industry outcomes in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to talk about competitors or partners specifically, but I think what's become pretty obvious is that HPC and some of the high-performance computing world is becoming a lot more important in the broader sense. For one reason is because of this influx of the AI influence within the HPC world. I mean, if you look at the trajectory of AI evolution in the last few years, it's gone from being more like an academic curiosity to like the things that everybody talks about every day. And the growth in complexity and accuracy that some of the AI models bring to the table have really exploded to the point that now it's truly intersecting the HPC world. I mean, today you cannot say AI without saying high performance computing. I mean, no matter who you are, no matter if you're in the cloud, if you're in a supercomputing center, if you're in a traditional enterprise, AI and high performance computing are becoming a synonym to a certain way. And what is also changing is that new generations of AI are becoming much more relevant to the physical world. I mean, during this conference we talked a lot about the role of machine learning and AI in areas like a digital twin, in control of the IoT. Even you mentioned agriculture, smart agriculture, places like that. This is a different use of machine learning and AI from the original use more in the virtual world. And so that combination is becoming much more powerful, but is also having deeper effects in everyday aspects of our lives.
Yes, and now the hyperscalers, they are becoming a species on their own. They have so absurdly large resources, even for their own silicon. Now, is that creating some isolation for the rest of the industry? Are they creating their own AI? We have been seeing examples these days in Microsoft and Google. Is that something that will diverge or converge for the future of the industry in general?
The investments in silicon are cyclic. They've gone through again It used to be that companies were vertically integrated. At some, if you go back enough in time, we had all the large companies that were building silicon. We're building our own processors. Then it has become more horizontally integrated in the sense that you had companies, most of the companies in the semiconductor industry that specialized in some layers that were they were building CPU, GPUs, or other things that the rest of the industry adopted. Now with the cloud economics, in some cases it's becoming vertically integrated again. So the cloud economics are making the case that you want to build your own silicon again. It's going to be cyclical again. I don't think this is the end of the story. I mean, it depends on where the next breakthrough in the business and economics are going to take us. We're going to see another variation of that. I mean, we mentioned edge, for example. Edge brings an opportunity to inject a lot more heterogeneity than in traditional data center, because you're solving specific problems that have energy or physical cost constraints or space, actual physical footprint constraints. So it's going to be a constant evolution and revolution. I mean, again, I don't think this is the end of the story. I mean, I think
those Cambrian explosions are still cyclical.
Right. No, but even when you said at the beginning, like now we see cloud service providers building their own silicon. Well, I mean, you can argue that is not very different than it was, in the 70s or the 80s, where we had, major computing providers building our own silicon. Then at some point it might disaggregate again. So I mean, fortunately, I don't have the crystal ball. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here and I would be doing a different job. But it is kind of hard to. It's easy to look at today's picture and say this is what's going to happen forever. But history teaches us that that's not necessarily true.
Thank you very much, Paolo. It's a real pleasure and honored again of having you here.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and thanks very much for being persistent and continue to invite me. And I was finally able to find enough time to come over.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's been
Cheers.
a pleasure.